Are you able to see this screen? Are you able to see the screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Shall we start the class? Are you able to see the PPT screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, what we discussed in the previous class? In the previous class, we started with what is software engineering. Okay, shall we start the class?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, in the previous class, we started with what is software, what is the definition for software. Then we discussed types of softwares, the major types of softwares like custom softwares and examples, generic softwares and embedded softwares. Then the real-time softwares and data processing softwares. So the major five types of softwares we discussed. Then we started with the software engineering basics. What is the definition for software? How the software engineering is done, and what is the meaning of software product? What are the different fields of engineering we have? Why we are calling the software project as software engineering? And the various activities of software engineering like requirements analysis, system design, code design, testing, deployment, maintenance, and updates. Then we discussed the software engineering activities, like the four main activities of software engineering, like solving the customer's problem, systematic development and evaluation, large high quality software system development, and cost and time management of your software. Then we discussed the framework of software engineering, the four major activities of software engineering are analysis, design, development, coding, and testing. And we discussed the software engineering frameworks or paradigms like called programming paradigms, software paradigms, and software development paradigm. So the software development paradigm is the superset of software programming paradigm and software design paradigm. And within software design, we have programming. So programming is the subset. We have the superset software design and the superset combining both programming and software design as software development. So any doubt in the previous class topics? Then we discussed why we need software engineering. So what is the need for studying software engineering? When we know all the programming concepts, database concepts and front-end back-end concepts, and you have already done so many programming languages, you learned and did programs in labs, separate lab sessions also you had using C, C++, Java, Python and all those things. Then based on the same programming experience, you can go with projects also. Then what is the need for studying separate software engineering subject? So the need for software engineering is to program large softwares. We need to understand the systematic activities of any software engineering. And if the scalability of your software project increases, how to handle the various modules of your software by using modularity and component properties. And to understand the cost estimation factors and the financial activities are related with your software development in terms of hardware, software purchase and programming cost and other accessories. So the estimation, cost estimation of your project should be done whenever we are doing some large projects of 6 months or 1 year for big organizations. And to understand the dynamic nature of your software and to make your software to be flexible for additional add-on deletion of components, we need to understand the dynamic nature, how to create a reusable software that we can study using software engineering. And quality management. So whenever we create any project, that should be usable by all the people. So we need to consider all the quality aspects and testing aspects of your software engineering. So to understand all those components while creating a big project, we are studying software engineering. So any doubts so far? So next we are entering into the next subheading called the characteristics of good software. So while creating any software, what are the characteristics we need to implement in our project so that it will be a good project or good software. So a software product can be judged by what it offers and how well it can be used. So what is the input and how the processing is done, how efficient the output produced by any software plays an important role. So we need to understand what are the activities we are going to provide or what are the functionalities we are going to provide through our software, and how user friendly your software, that should be considered. So any software must satisfy the following 3 parameters. So while creating any software, we should consider whether the following characteristics are implemented in your project. The main 3 characteristics of any software are operational characteristics, transitional characteristics and maintenance characteristics. So what is operational means how well the software works based on the measures like budget, usability, efficiency, correctness, functionality, security and safety. So the various functional activities or functional modules of your software should follow the standard rules and regulations as well as the used by the programmers and the good practices which are offered by the programmers. If you follow all those things, we can easily achieve the efficiency, correctness, functionality, what is expected according to the requirements. And transitional characteristics are important when the software is moved from one platform to another based on portability, reusability and adaptability. So the software should provide some flexibility if you are creating the software only for Android based, so it will not work in iOS or it will not work in desktop. So while creating the software itself, you should consider it should be platform independent, as well as it should work in all the operating systems. Say your software should work in DOS operating system, Windows operating system, as well as Linux and Unix operating systems. So it should be very portable and it should be usable and reusable. So those three things will come under transitional characteristics of software. And maintenance. So it should be easy to maintain, and the size of the software should be compact, and it should occupy very less memory space, and the size, cost, and the time it takes to execute the project, all those things should be flexible, so that we can easily maintain the software. How well the software is maintained itself based on the capabilities like modularity, maintainability, flexibility, and scalability. So we should consider the modularity. It should be module based one. So the customer wants to include all the modules, they can include. If they want to exclude some modules, so it should work with the without some modules also, and it should be maintainable one, and it should be flexible one, and the size of the software should be compact. It should not be very large in size. So these three characteristics, operational, transitional, and maintenance, are the three major characteristics of any software. Any doubt in this topic?
No, ma'am.
Yeah, Kirtana, what are the three major characteristics of any software? Operational characteristics, transitional characteristics, and maintenance characteristics. And the next subheading is called nature of software engineering. What is the nature and how it will function? So the various aspects, software designs of systems, but the software differs in important ways from types of artifacts produced by other types of engineers, like system software, application software, engineering, and scientific softwares. So then based on the area or domain where we are going to use our software, we can classify the software engineering as system software. It is mainly created for device drivers and the programs which are created to create any application package are called system software. So they are using system softwares like C, C++, or Java, the core programming languages. We can create any application package. So that is called system software. And application software means the softwares which are created for any particular application. Say it may be an hospital management system, or it may be airline reservation system, or it may be any supermarket billing system, or online shopping system. So those are the softwares which are created to fulfill some application need. And engineering and scientific softwares. So the softwares packages which are created for scientific needs, like the softwares used in airspaces, or that is atomic power stations, or in flying stations, they are all called scientific softwares. And embedded softwares means the softwares which are used in the embedded devices, like the softwares used in ACs, geysers, or washing machines, or remote control operations used for music system. So those kind of softwares are called embedded softwares. And product like softwares. So product like softwares means say the softwares used particularly for enterprise applications, product based material management systems, all those things. And web applications, say the web applications like Flipkart applications, or WhatsApp, Facebook, Twitter. So those kind of, or web pages. So those things will come under web applications. And artificial intelligence softwares, say the Mycin software used in hospitals, or used by doctors, or any artificial softwares which takes decisions on its own, the softwares which are used in robotics. So those things will come under artificial intelligence softwares. So any doubt in the nature of softwares? Any doubt? Sharan, any doubt? So based on the nature, we have 7 types of softwares. So system software, application software, scientific softwares, embedded softwares, product like softwares, and artificial and web applications. So, and if you take the nature of software engineering, the software is the various characteristics based on the nature or based on the general characteristics of software engineering, we can classify the software as software is largely intangible. So tangible means, what is tangible? What is the meaning of tangible? Any physical device is called tangible. Say if you can able to see the keyboard, we can able to see the mouse, so it is a tangible object. Intangible means we cannot see the content, because the software is based on some logic. So we'll have some input process, transaction process, and output process. Everything is in the form of code. The code is a logical sequence of activities, and it is internally represented in binary form, zeros and ones. So it means that, so the software is, in general, it is an intangible. Intangible means it is not a physical device, it is a logical component. So you cannot feel the shape of this piece of software, and so we cannot see because it is not physical component, we cannot able to see. The design can be hard to visualize. So through the diagrams of your software only, we can see what are the various activities and components in our software. So in general, we cannot visualize the content. So it is difficult for people to access its quality and hard to understand and develop the development effort. So the main characteristics of software engineering is, software is largely tangible one. So we cannot see, we cannot visualize, or it is not a physical component, it's a logical component. Mass production of duplicates pieces of software. Engineers are very concerned about cost of each item and labor of to manufacture it. So in any software we'll have so many components. So it will have input components, processing, and output. So we can make use of the existing components as it is in our project also. So the duplication or reuse of the pieces of software can be done. Untrained people can hack something together. So it is too easy for an inadequately trained software developer to create a piece of software that is difficult to understand and modify. So if you are if the person is not trained in a particular programming language or in the platform, it is very hard to understand the software, as well as it is very hard to hack this software, and inadequately trained software developer create a piece of software that is difficult to understand and modify. So if you are not following the standards of creating the software created by one person cannot be understandable by another person. They will use their own variables, their own functions and modules. So it is very hard to other people to understand the program and to execute the program. So we need to get trained in the systematic activities of software engineering, so that the software will be understandable to all the people. Software is easy to modify because of its complexity, but it is very difficult to make changes that are created. So while creating the software itself, we should think about reusing the same in the future also, so that we will go for classes and objects, and we will go for modularity concept, so that the modules and functions can be used and reused in various other programs also. So we should think of easy to modify. If the project is in functions form, we can delete unwanted things and we can add new functions also. So your project should be flexible to add and modify the content. Software is easy to reproduce. Cost is its development cost. So to avoid to reduce the cost and to increase the efficiency, we should make use of the existing modules from the previous projects, or the library functions as it is in our project, so that we can reuse and the cost can be reduced. So these are the 5 major software engineering natures. So based on the nature of software engineering, we can say the software is an intangible code or intangible device. So the software is a logical component. So mass production of duplicate pieces of software can increase the cost. So we can go for a reusable components, or we can make use of the existing components so that we can reduce the cost. And untrained people can check, hack something together. So if the person is not trained in the programming language, he will use his own standards. If he follows his own standards, then the project which is created by the untrained people cannot be understandable to other people. So that we should follow the universal standards in our programming so that it will be understandable to all the people. Software is easy to modify. Your project should be in a position to add and modify the various components, and the software should be reusable one, and it should reproduce new components from the existing components. So these are the 5 natures of any software. The next subheading is called stakeholders in software engineering. Stakeholders means the various people associated with the software are called stakeholders. So the term stakeholder means that the person who is involved in creating the project or using the project, or in the design activities or maintenance activities, or in the testing activities. So the 4 main people who involve in any software development or the stakeholders are users, customers, software developers, and development managers. So the users means once the project is created, the person who is going to use your end product is called users. And the customers means to whom you are creating the project. Say for example, if you are creating an ATM project, the users will be any account holder of the bank or any card holder of the bank will make use of the ATM system. So they are all the users. Customers, all people who are having account with the system, account with a particular bank, they are all called customers. And software developers means the programmer, manager, project head, all those people who are all involved in the project development team, who performs the design, testing, maintenance activities. They are all called software developers. And development managers means, so they keep the team on track daily basis, responsible for project delivery. So whenever we are creating any project, we'll form a team. The team will have some designer, there will be some analysis person, system analyst, there will be some testing, software testers, we'll have programmers, we'll have maintenance people, we'll have the hardware designer people, and project manager will be there, project development manager will be there. So all those people together, they will form a team. Then each and every person will do their work, and we will come out with the, so the designer will do all the design activities, the coding person or the programmer will do the actual programming, and testing, software testing people will do the testing process. The manager will manage all the people in the team. So we'll have the development team. So based on the development team only, we'll create the project. So any doubt in the stakeholders of software engineering? Any doubt for all the stakeholders? Users, customers, development team, and the software developers. They are all the 4 major stakeholders of any software engineering activity. So each and every person will have their own role. So next we are entering to the subheading called software engineering projects. So we know very well software means the big program. Engineering means it will involves all the activities of any software development like analysis, design, development, coding, and testing. Project means we should follow the model or technique so that we will come out with the end product. So what are the activities we are going to perform in software engineering projects are based on the type of the project what we are going to do. So the software engineering work is normally organized into projects. So depending upon the project only, we will choose a particular model or methodology. So we should classify the project into small software system or large software system. So based on the size, or based on the duration, or based on the cost allotted to the particular project, or based on how many problems we are going to solve, or based on the number of functions, we will say the project is a small software system or large software system. So if the software system is very large, then we will subdivide the large software system into smaller ones, and each part will be given to separate team. They will create a separate subdivisions or components of the software. Then all the components will be put together to create the large software system. The software projects are divided into three major categories. So those are modifying the existing system. So we can create any software system. We will take the old system or old project, we will modify the components and functions, we will create the new system. Or that involves starting the develop a system from scratch. Or we will create each and every component from the beginning to the end. So that is called development. Or we will go for involve building most of the new systems from existing components while developing new software only missing details. So if it is building, we will take the existing few components and build the new project by adding additional new functions. Modifying means just modifying the existing system and bringing the new system. Developing means creating the project from the beginning and performing each and every activity by fresh, and we will get the project. And if it is building means we will take some its combination of both modifying and developing. We will take the existing components and we will add some new components and we will build the new system. So any doubt in the topics, stakeholders of software engineering, and two major types of software engineering projects, like small software systems and large software systems, and how we are creating the software by using three major activities. It may be modifying the existing one to create the new one, or developing a new project from the scratch, or building and software by using the old components as well as by adding some new additional components. Any doubt? The software projects. Abhinav Ram, any doubt?
No, ma'am.
Who are all the major four stakeholders of any project, software engineering project? Can you name the four types of people? Customers, users, end users, software development team, and software developers. Swati, Ayyappa Reddy. What is the two major types of softwares? Small software systems and large software systems. So any doubt so far?
No, ma'am.
So the next subheading is called software engineering projects. So many of the how we are creating the softwares we can create evolutionary or maintenance projects. Evolutionary or maintenance projects are created by modifying the existing projects. And the second one is called greenfield projects. The third types of projects are called projects that involve building on a framework or set of existing components. So evolutionary means we will take the old one, we will update and modify the same existing old project. Say if the project is created in Java, or if it is created in C++, we will convert the same project from Java to Java language to Python language, or C programming projects can be modified or updated with the Java language. And if it is greenfield projects, they are associated with the greenfield principles, and projects that involve a building on the framework or set of existing components. So we'll choose a framework. Based on the framework, we will create our project by making use of the existing components and by adding some new additional parameters. So now we will see what is evolutionary or maintenance projects. So the evolutionary or maintenance projects are created for corrective projects, or fixing the defects. If the old project is having some defects, or if it is not functioning properly, or it is outdated project, or it is created 10 years before, we want to use the latest tools and techniques, or we want to upgrade to new operating system, or we want to convert the C programming project into Java programming project, or normal project into web-based project. So in that case, we will go for corrective projects, and adaptive projects change the system in response to changing environment. So adaptive projects, we may change the operating system. It may be created for DOS operating system or Linux operating system. We will convert the project to Windows operating system or Macintosh operating system, iOS. And the database change. The old database may be in Excel form, or we may be using Sybase or DBase databases. Now we can upgrade the database from to MySQL or SQL or Oracle tables. And rules and regulations. If the rules and regulations or policies are changed, then to implement the new rules and regulations and policies, we will update the project. So corrective projects, adaptive projects, and enhancement projects. So enhancement means if you want to add some additional features, adding new features for the users. Say for example, if you take income tax projects, every year the income tax policies, everything is changing. So in that case, we need to add some functions, we need to delete, the policies are changed. So according to the new policies, the constraints tables and payment aspects should be modified. Previously we had only normal tax, now we have GST. According to GST calculations, we need to update the database. And re-engineering or perfective projects, changing the system internally so it is more maintainable. So re-engineering means, so if the functions or some functions are not working properly, or some interconnectivity problem is there, or the front end access is not up to the mark. So if you want to make your project as a user friendly one, based on if it is working in a desktop, if you want to make it as an internet based one, so in that case also we can go for re-engineering. So re-engineering or reverse engineering. So it means we will add some additional features using the new tools and techniques. So these kind of projects like corrective projects, adaptive projects, enhancement projects, and re-engineering or perfective projects, those kind of projects, that is modifying the existing project to new project, is called evolutionary or maintenance projects. And the next type is called greenfield projects. So greenfield projects in the sense will start from the scratch, development of entirely new software system from the scratch or less. So it means we need to do all the activities. We need to identify all the variables. We need to identify all the functions and front-end, back-end tools, hardware, software configuration, various functional aspects, testing methods, everything we have to do from the beginning to the end. So the new development projects or minority of projects are not constrained by the design decisions or errors. Lot of work to build a complex system from scratch. So if you are creating a project from the beginning, we need to consider each and every aspect of the project, from analysis, design, development, coding, testing, maintenance, implementation, everything we have to consider. Creating the reports, creating the documents, user manuals, everything, the hardware design, software design, everything should be functional design. Everything is involved from the scratch in greenfield projects. So it means that the manual project is automated by using software. The third type is called projects that involve building on a framework or a set of existing components. So we'll take a framework or model, and based on the model, we'll create the project. Whatever the existing components can be reused, those functions we will take from the existing projects. And if any new functionality is not available, that alone we will create from the beginning. So the framework is an application that is missing some important details. So we'll take some framework. It may be a spiral model or win-win spiral model or object-oriented model, or we have a waterfall model. So we have different types of project development model or frameworks, or we'll call it as patterns, or we'll call it as methodologies. So we'll take a framework. Within that framework, we need to create the project. Example, specific rules of this organization. So if you are creating a project for a particular organization, the rules and regulations will be different. Say for example, we have one project for Vishweshwara University. So the exam policies, rules and regulations will be different for Vishweshwara University. The same project we are creating for JNTU, then the rules and regulations, there will be some minor or major changes. So according to the policies and rules and regulations of the government or the organization, we need to modify or update the project. Some projects involve plugging together components that are already developed. So in this kind of project, building on a framework, we can make use of the existing component, and already existing components or modules can be taken for your project and provide significant functionality. So we can take the old project modules also in your project and benefit from reusing reliable software, provide much of the same freedom to involve found in the greenfield development. So it is combination of making use of the existing software as well as adding your own functional components. So it is a hybrid of greenfield as well as upgradation. So these kind of projects will come under the third type, projects that involve building on a framework or a set of existing components. So these are the major three types. So any doubt in the three types of software engineering project, evolutionary or maintenance projects, greenfield projects, and projects that involve building on a framework or set of existing projects. So evolutionary means updating or modifying the existing project. Greenfield project means creating the new fresh project, and a framework or set of existing components means taking old components as well as creating our own new components or functions, and combination of these two will create the new project. So these are the major three types of software projects. So the next subheading is what are the activities we need to perform in any software engineering. So the major activities we need to perform in any software project are, so first we need to perform, there are 7 major activities. So the first one is requirements specification. So we need to collect all the requirements for your project, or we need to create the software specification for your project. So the requirements means functional requirements, non-functional requirements, hardware requirements, software requirements, rules and regulations, government policies, and other tangible tangible requirements and intangible requirements. Everything that will create software specification. Based software specification in the sense it is an algorithmic representation of your project. So algorithmic representation means we'll write down each and every specification. So what is the software, what is the hardware, what is the configuration, how many programmers we need, what are the functions we're going to use, all those things. And the design will create the graphical design of your project. Graphical design in the sense we may create the data flow diagrams, or we may create flow chart, or we may use UML diagrams. So the graphical representation of your project will be created by using the design. Second step, design. Modeling, the third step, design, we will design the architectural design. So the overall architecture of your project will be shown. Functional design will be done. Components design will be done. System design will be done, as well as the testing design. All the design aspects of your project will be done in design. In modeling, we will go for the various models, system model, use case models, or sequence diagram models, component diagram models, collaborative diagram models. All the modeling activities will be done in the modeling third stage, third activity. Fourth one is called programming. It is called coding. Based on the algorithmic specification and design of your project, you'll go for the coding of each and every the declaration part, various functions, main programming, the table design. So all the programming coding activities will be done in the programming activity. Once the coding is done, we will go for the testing. So once the programming is done, we'll compile and execute. We'll integrate the front end, back end, and all the tables. Then we will go for the quality assurance. So the quality assurance, here we'll have all the testing aspects. So the testing in the sense, system testing, unit testing, basis black box testing methods or white box testing, or we may go for manual or automated testing methods. So all the testing will be done in the quality and assurance. Once the testing is over, then we will deploy the project in the actual environment. We will give the project to some end user or the company or the person who ordered your project. They will use your project and they will test whether it's working according to their needs. and they will deploy the project in the actual working environment, and they will allow the end users to access the project, and based on the feedback received from the end users, they will get the feedback for next 6 months or 1 year. Actual deployment on-site deployment will be done. Based on the end users feedback, if they want any modifications or changes or maintenance will be then we'll have the managing the process. Based on the deployment feedback, we'll go for the implementation as well as maintenance activities. So these are the major 7 activities related with any software engineering project. So requirements and specification, design activities, modeling activities, programming activities, quality assurance, deployment, managing the process. So in our software engineering subject, what are the major things we are going to study means, in the unit 1 we will study requirements and specification activities, and unit module 2 we will study design aspects. Module 3 we will study modeling aspects using UML diagrams. We are not going to study about the programming. And the unit 4 we will study the quality assurance aspects, testing, various testing methods. And module 5 we are going to study the various deployment activities and maintenance activities. So any doubt in the 7 major activities of software engineering? Any doubt? Tanmay? Nishok Raj? Any doubt?
No, ma'am.
So can you, anybody can tell me what are the 4 major activities? Sorry, 7 major activities of software engineering? Shall we continue, or Vineet Kumar? Any doubt in the 7 activities of software engineering? So now we will study each and every activity in detail. So if you take what is the requirements and specification software engineering activity. So here, what are the under this so whenever we start any project, we need to collect the requirements for that project. So this is the first stage or initial stage of any software engineering. So here, what are the things we need to do for your project? Say for example, if you are given a mini project. So for the given mini project, say it is an student online attendance system, or it may be students online examination system, or students online material management system, or some project. So for the given project, what are the things we need to do under the, we will start with the requirements or specification activity. So whenever we do any project, we need to do the activities one by one. First we'll go for requirements. Once this requirements and specification is over, then we'll go to the design. Then we'll go for the modeling, then we'll go for the programming, then quality assurance, because they are all interrelated with each other. Once the requirements specification is over, then only we can go for the design diagrammatic representation of the, so it is algorithm, creating the algorithm for your project. First we need to identify the problem, then we will create the problem statement, then we will go for the solutions. What are the various solutions available for the given problem? So the solutions may be it may be already existing one, or we can go for scientific based solutions, or tabulation method based solutions, or graphical based solutions, or textual or scientific based solutions. So any problem will have n number of solutions. From the n number of available solutions, we need to identify optimal or best solution. Then once the solution method is identified to solve the problem, then we will start writing the specification. In that method, say for example, if you want to find out the solution for x square plus y square, then we need to go for the x square plus y square. Is there any mathematical formula, or is there any scientific formula, or is there any graphical or tabulation method based solution available for that? So from the available solution, we will go for the mathematical solution. So in the mathematical, what is the formula given for that? what are the variables we need, what are the input parameters we need, what are the constraints, everything we need to identify. Then we will go for the design. Once the design is done, modeling is done, then based on the design and model, we will go for the actual coding. For every line written in the algorithm, we will write the corresponding programming statements. Once the program is completed, coding is over, then only we will go for the compilation, running and testing the software. Once everything is over, then we will go for the deployment. Then we will go for the maintenance activity. So while creating the project also, we should consider first step, the initial step in your any project is requirements or specification analysis. So here, what are the internal operations we need to perform means it includes domain analysis. So domain, what do you mean by domain? Domain means, what is domain? So based on the problem, well, if the problem is scientific based one, we should go for scientific methods. If it is an application based one, so if it is education field, then we will go for the educational based solutions or methods. Or if it is business based domain, then we will go for the solutions available in the business activities. Or if it is share market, so the domain is share market. If it is an hospital based project, then it is hospital domain. If it is airline based one, the domain is airline based. So first we need to understand the domain. Actually how the operations are performed manually in the particular domain. Then define the problem. Then based on the problem, requirements gathering should be done by obtaining the input from many sources as possible. So based on the problem, you go for the requirements. Then requirement analysis should be done, organizing the information. So after collecting all the parameters required for the problem, requirements, then you will analyze the requirements. Then requirements specification. The requirement specification is nothing but it is an algorithmic steps or textual based representation of your the answers or the step-by-step procedure to solve the problem is called requirements specification. Writing detailed instructions about how the software should behave. So it means that the various textual or it may be an algorithmic statements which solves or which gives a solution for your overall project. You got the idea what is the requirements or specification analysis? So this is your first step. Then design. So you know very well design means it is a graphical representation, deciding how the requirements should be implemented using the available technology. So in the design activity, it may be system engineering. So the overall system means the overall project. Deciding what should be in hardware and what is the software. So in the design, we should identify the software configuration, software design and hardware design. And the software architecture, dividing the system into subsystems and deciding how the subsystem will interact. So in the design, first we will design the hardware design and software design. Then we will go for the system architecture, the overall structure of your project, the various components, and the detailed design of the internal of the subsystem. So if the project is very big, we'll divide the project into so many subsystems. Then each and every subsystem should be designed separately. Then if the project is in subsystem form, we need to interconnect all the subsystems. So using user interface design, the subsystems will be interconnected to form the major system. Then we need to design the software database. Any project will have the front end and back end. The front end will deal with the programming aspects, and the back end is used to design the databases and tables or sheets, Excel sheets, where we are going to store the data permanently. So you got the idea what is design. So in design, we need to consider software design, hardware design, or software architecture design, and internal subsystem designs, user interface design, and design of databases. The third activity is called modeling. So here in the modeling, to represent the project in a user-friendly or diagrammatic form, we'll go for some tools. So we may use use case modeling tools to create use case diagrams, or sequence diagrams or collaboration diagrams or entity relationship diagrams or flow charts or data flow diagrams. So the various use case modeling diagrams will be done, or structural modeling diagrams can be created, or dynamic or behavioral modeling diagrams. So behavioral modeling diagrams means we'll go for object diagrams and sequence diagrams, UML modeling diagrams, or state chart diagrams, collaborative diagrams. So those diagrams can be created to represent the dynamic nature of your project. Then the fourth step is programming. So the programming will create the internal part of software engineering. So the various coding aspects, declaration, various functions, main programs, everything will be done. It involves the translation of high-level designs into particular programming language. So we will identify the software configuration. What is your language? What is your operating system? And what is the database? And in which platform you are going to create the project, operating system, everything will be identified. In that, we will write the actual coding. The fifth step is quality assurance. Here we will review the and inspect the project through the testing tools. We may go for automated testing tools or manual testing tools, and we will test each and every component of your project by using system testing, integration testing, unit testing. So the testing will be done in the fifth stage activity. And the sixth one is deployment. Deployment involves distributing and installing the software and any other components of the system, such as a database, special hardware, etc. It also involves managing the transition from any previous system. So in a deployment means we will execute the project in the actual working environment. Say your project is ATM. The ATM project will be implemented and installed in the ATM's machines, and the ATM machines will be given to the public people. They will make use of the ATM machines using the debit and credit cards, and we will get the feedback from the customers. And managing the process. Managing software project is considered an integrated part of software engineering. So estimating the cost of the system and planning the various activities. So the managing is nothing but, say if the project is created within 1 year. So first month what we are going to do, how much time we are going to spend for requirements process, how much time we are going to spend for design, 1 month for design, and third month for coding, for fourth month for testing, fifth month for deployment. Again we will and then we will create the reports and other things. After 3 months we will get the feedback and we will upgrade the system according to the feedback. So these are the 7 major activities involved in any software. So you got the idea, the activities in the 7 major activities of software engineering, the common 7 major activities. Any doubt? Any doubt? Shall we continue, or we'll have a 5 minutes break and we'll continue? Priyanka? Kaki Jain? Rohit? Shall we continue, or we'll have a break and we'll continue? Okay, answer your attendance for this particular hour. Answer your attendance. Okay, any doubts so far?
No, ma'am.
Shall we continue? Rishika, any doubts so far?
No,
Types
ma'am.
of software engineering project, the stakeholders of 4 major stakeholders of software engineering, and 7 major activities of software engineering. Any doubt? Hari Krishna. I'm trying to create an. I will send you an poll. You please answer to the poll. You got it? Are you able to see the screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, shall we continue or
5 minutes break, ma'am.
okay? The time is now 3 o'clock. We will resume by 3:05 or 3:10. Okay, I will create a poll for you. So you need to answer. It's like a quiz MCQ. You got it? Based on the topics what we covered. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay. Rules.